start in my heart. Stay with me, warm and free. You and I never say goodbye. Snow is cold, love is gold. Hold my hand, you understand. Past is gone, move along. You are good, like you should. Only you, love is true. Breathe in deep, promises keep. Start again, no more pain. Clear and bright, shine like light. Fix it now, somehow. Stay with me. Safe zone, not alone. Home sweet home, never roam. Just be you and me. Stay with me, warm and free. You and I never say goodbye. Snow is cold, love is gold. Hold my hand, you understand. I remember it different. Or maybe I just remember how it felt. Everything was slower then. Or maybe it was just me. I've been drifting through the old days. Faces fade, but the feeling stays. I can't tell what was real now. Just a blur in the gray now. I've been walking through the same haze, same roads in a new phase. I don't know where it went now. Just a ghost in my head now. Back when time didn't move so fast, long nights felt like they would last. Street lights glow in a softer tone. Now I pass by, it don't feel like home. Voices echo but far away. Names I knew start to drift and fray. Pictures stuck in a faded frame. I still look, but it's not the same. I was there, but I feel removed, like a life that I never proved. Every step that I thought was clear turns to fog when I reappear. Maybe I just outgrew the space, or the world put on a different face. See the way I can't recreate what it was in a younger state. I've been drifting through the old days. Faces fade, but the feeling stays. I can't tell what was real now. Just a blur in the gray now. I've been walking through the same haze, same roads in a new phase. I don't know where it went now. Just a ghost in my head now. keep coming back for more. Maybe I'm just chasing life from a place I can't rewrite. Just a blur. Just a blur. In my head, just a blur. Just a blur. Never been, never been.
All right. What is going on? Welcome to Market Maker Monday. I hope you guys had a good weekend. What did y'all do? What did y'all do this weekend? Did you do anything fun, exciting, cool? Man, I should have played this song for the intro instead of the other one. Anyway, what's good? Scott, Slowly, 2020, Capitalist, Eberneth, Mark, E, Torty, Miguel, Felix, Laurent, Julius. Julius, did you ever find out if today was contract rollover or not? Or is that somebody else? Baseball with the boys, nice. What's good, Jay-Z? Studied, it was boring but great. Ooh. It'd be like that. Lazy River. Somebody went drinking. Hopefully, you guys didn't litter, because a lot of that happens in the lazy rivers. Everybody drinks, it gets drunk, and then leaves all their cans in the water. Not that I would know, because I've never been. But that's what I see on social media. So, yeah. There's that. What's good, Jesse? Updated an indicator, worked on a couple of others. Very good. What's good, Adam? Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. So anytime you are ever in doubt, it's usually the third Friday of every third month. But what we look for is an increase in both volume and open interest. Okay, that is the only way that I would ever use volume in that capacity. So when both volume and open interest are higher for September, then we will move on from June. So like right now, for example, we have a little bit more volume, but about half the open interest for September. So that means we are still in June, my friend. We are still in June. But you could start rolling over today, I'm sure. Or just trading that contract instead of this one. I live in Vegas. It's in a casino. No littering. Well, the entire city of Vegas is pretty much litter, so there is that. Studied and caught up on Book of the Month. Did you watch the UFC fight? No, I did not. No, I did not. Do I watch open interest? Not really. Not anymore. I mean, I get it, but it's just not really something I pay a lot of attention to anymore. What I'm trying to pay attention to is NQ here. I wouldn't short personally, but I do feel like there's a little pool down here, right? A little pool a little lazy river right here. And I feel like it's hard to fit it all on one chart on a small time frame. But think about anybody who was long pre-market or early today. You know, stops get built, stops get built, stops get built. And that's like an easy just cluster of lows that isn't a premium. So to me, that's where the majority of the trailing stops are right now. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I know. I know, even I talk a lot of shit, but it's New York that's the worst. So at least Vegas, there's like some fun, I guess. I mean, if you enjoy losing money at the casino, I guess that's cool. I guess there's like legal prostitution over there as well. So if you like that kind of thing, I guess, but you know, degeneracy is rampant over there. But do what you gotta do. You know, who am I to judge, right? Do what you gotta do. I ain't gonna tell you how to trade. I ain't gonna tell you how to live your life, all right? I probably wouldn't do those things, but you know, we live and we learn. We live and we learn. Yeah, Aberneth. I mean, at least your probabilities are better over here than at the craps table or the roulette table. So anyway, let's go over ES. I really don't have a lot for the Nasdaq. But you know, I gotta come with the I told you so. You know I fucking do that. Every time. Every time, Chad. Every time. That's why you're here. You know you love it. You know you love it. What do you remember about Friday? Friday was a member-only stream. If you missed out, then you know you're gay. We have a original consolidation over here, right? Beautiful equal highs. We left it, back into it, left it again. I went over extensively about this from last week, right? Where Monday's high was just short of an inverted gap. And then Tuesday, right, had swept that, traded into that. Beautiful shorts, really, really good trading. Arguably top 3 best trading days of the year so far was the 9th. I told you this looks like our manipulation phase, and then we got our low risk buy first leg. And so I told you, now this is a screenshot from today prior to equities, but these drawings were from Friday, if you remember. And I told you what we would need to do is get above the gap and then go back into it, maybe below to like the breakaway, right? In this drawing, of course, this was not here. Our gap was not created yet on Friday. But given that gap, the drawing is basically showing we could go back into that gap. But what I was trying to point out is that we would need to get above the gap and then go back into it and treat it like a reclaimed gap to go higher. And I said we could trade a little bit below it, but ultimately like sink for those, or rally for those highs. Y'all drop a 1 if you guys remember that from Friday. I did talk about that, right? I'm not like bullshitting. Because if I didn't, don't drop a 1. If I didn't say anything, don't drop a 1. And it's pretty interesting what we did today. Sunday's gap, higher. We got through it, and then, oh, look at this. Look at this. How do I know what price is going to do if I can't see where the orders are? If I'm not looking at volume or indicators, how can I know in advance? I don't know. I don't know, chat. I don't know. I get really fucking lucky. over and over and over again every week. I'm the luckiest man in the world. So yeah, that's cool. And then now we're higher. So yeah, this is highly, highly bullish to me. I would have preferred if we went lower, like actually more into this gap during equities. I would have preferred that. But the experience that I have and the sort of like instantaneous thought is, although that is what I wanted, yes, you got to remember, if this is our second leg of accumulation, it's going to be faster than the first. So it may not give a deep retracement. So that's why I said, I think it's like a few minutes ago, I wouldn't short today. I would not short these markets. So, and now you sort of understand what this level is up here, 30,807 or 808 if you want to round up, is yes, we do have lows down here as a consolidation. That is true, which we left. And then right in here, I sent out a tweet. I sent it in Discord too, but I also sent out a tweet and I said potential AMD on NQ. So that doesn't mean just short right away. What that means is we might be, right, accumulation, manipulation, and then like this high being taken could be the manipulation phase of a sell model to go lower. So we would need to wait for that. And we never get a reversal. Okay. We get the expansion higher. Do we get the expansion lower? No, we don't. So if it is not a reversal, right, what else could it be? Could be a consolidation. I mean, I guess that's possible. But remember, why would the it's not impossible, but why would the probabilities lean to consolidation after a run higher during a second leg of accumulation on ES? And NQ would likely follow suit and go higher. So that doesn't make sense. So if it's not a reversal to go lower and it's unlikely to be consolidation, then it's probably going to be a continuation. Right. So again, we don't get that reversal and we just get a continuation higher. So do you understand the thought process behind that? And there's a lot of gaps, 2020. Excuse me. There's a lot of gaps on the daily time frame over there. You would be correct. So that is the business for today. And this is also because I didn't used to understand this right here for a long time. And I'm hoping that if you have not picked this up by now, you probably have not studied enough. But I think, oh, that's a good point. I gotta do that. Okay. What I think, right, people get wrong is whenever we have a market that goes higher and higher and higher, and then you start to see some of the things that we look for. And what really blew up shortly after I joined the MLM industry, it's not because of me, but a huge part of it is a lot of what people took and ran with, like it was the what is it called? Holy Grail, if you will, was the last up candle or the last up candles right before the down move. And just like every other concept and just like every other like any sort of way people trade, right? And it doesn't even matter. But what people do is they get introduced to an idea, right? And then we sort of have this anchoring bias where we over rely or we put too much importance on information that is readily available or information that we like just learned, so it's still fresh in our mind. And so what people did, and I did the same thing, so I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody else, because I went literally through the same thing. And we learn like, oh, okay, you have an up candle or two up candle or three or four, however many. And you go, okay, once we trade through that, then that's going to be a short. Or like, the other side, if we have down candles, we trade through them. Then that's going to be a long. And then what we do is we think automatically that every time we have that's going to be a trade, that's going to work, right? And then what you start to see is stuff like this, where you go, okay, I saw the up candles, we traded through them, I shorted, I got a decent entry, the market went lower, but oh man, now I got knocked out, break even. Or maybe this even goes higher, and it's like, oh, I took a loss, or something. It's like, well, why didn't this work, right? And they go, we're massively higher, where all the indicators are going to say overbought, right? We're overbought. Well, guess what? Indicators can still say overbought, and the market can still go higher. Okay. That's the thing. And what people don't understand is why this occurs. Let me put it to you this way. Drop a 2 in the chat if you've experienced that before. And it doesn't even matter whether you learned it from me or learned something from somebody else. Have you done that? You learned a new concept, especially the imbalance, the candles, whatever. And you start to take that cookie cutter and apply it everywhere, and you don't get it. Like, well, why does this imbalance work, but this one doesn't? Or why did this work? I always seem to take the losses, but I don't take the wins. It's always like the wins escape me, but I only take the losses. Like, what's going on? Like, drop a 2 if that's you in the chat. Well, it's a members only chat, but I don't know. Hold a 2 up in the air if you're a freebie and you can't type in the chat. Maybe I'll see it. So if you were to, again, journal your trades here, which most of you probably don't, you wonder why you don't learn. You don't learn from your mistakes. You keep making the same mistake over and over again, and you wonder why. So this, to me, right? Me looking at this a long time ago, I'd be like, oh, wow, the markets are super bullish. This probably isn't on a reversal. We're probably going to continue higher. And we probably will. But I would get frustrated, like, why doesn't this work? And what I had failed to do, not only like big picture perspective, right? But it's also understanding, in my opinion, what stage you're in. Okay? So let me put it to you in layman's terms. Let me try and be more simple here. The person, okay? Let's go back to the 5 minute for a second. The person that would believe that this is a short to go, or even like us trading back into it right now. Okay? Whether this goes up or down, who cares? But the person that thinks this is a good short and just got out break even, or maybe got out in profit or something, whatever. Whoever thought that was a good short and got out break even and is frustrated as to why. Okay, here's my opinion. And arguments are welcome. But some of the worst times to short, okay, some of the worst times to short is shorting when there's open equal highs. Now, there are times where shorts will work. Yes. We went over that last week. I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. Okay. And if the stream cuts off, it's because I lost power. Just so I hear thunder and shit. So forewarning you. There are times to short original consolidation or like distribution or redistribution. There are times to short when there's equal highs, yes. But some of the worst times to short are when markets are trading in the direction of opposing liquidity, right? So that's one of them. We already had our manipulation phase, so now we're going to seek opposing liquidity. This is the worst time to short. And secondly, no pun intended, but like the second worst time to short is we already had our first leg. This probably is a discount. And then this is our second leg of accumulation. So we already had the first. Now we're in the second. So you're in the stage, historically speaking, that has the highest probability to go higher and a higher probability that it's going to go higher quickly. And that's the market you're shorting. Right? So just think about that for a second. That's the worst, like one of the worst things you can do. And you wonder why stuff like this looks good for a little bit, like initially, like, oh, like one of you said earlier, yeah, there's a small divergence here, even like with NQ, for example, this higher high here, right? And I'm not denying that. And NQ did the same thing in terms of the up candle. Well, NQ only has one, right? Whereas ES has two. That's fine. But even then, like, okay, ES is the weaker asset. It gets a shift in state delivery at 1135 and then trades into that to go lower. And it looks, again, it looks good initially, but then immediately back up again. NQ, same thing. It looks good initially and then just dances around, sort of prints a down candle as if it's going to run for the trailing stops. And then now it's right back up again. And it's just consolidating in here. Does that look like a bearish market? No. So again, like my point is when you journal your trades, right? If you're shorting on that Tuesday or if you're shorting on that Wednesday for the manipulation, or if you're like trying to long the manipulation or the first leg or second leg, right? Like you're going to find good opportunities. But when you do the opposite, or when you get it wrong, or if the markets just consolidate around your entry and it doesn't make sense, you have to zoom out and you have to see if you're going against the algorithm, okay? The worst thing you can do is trade against the algorithm. So when I look at this, right, and you look at it too, we have everything we need. We have everything. We have all the stages here: accumulation, distribution, redistribution, manipulation, lowest buy somewhere in here, first leg. Short-term manipulation is our second leg to go higher. So although we don't need to trade up to 76.32 today, it's another like 50 points higher, maybe. Quick math. You know, I'm no genius, Chad. I'm no genius. Yeah, 50 points roughly. We don't have to do that today. But I think you get it though. It's like this is the last stage. This should trade above those highs. And so going against that is not going to work well. Anytime somebody shorted today, it didn't work. Or it worked a little bit, but did not work for very long. Little bit of shorts, massive higher. Little bit of retracement, massively higher. Divergence, shift in state delivery. Okay, yeah, it looks bearish. And then bang, right back up again. This is a highly bullish market at the moment. Not good for shorts. So do you have any questions so far? Do you guys have any questions so far? It might have, it probably has been a little bit of time since I've shared the buy model with you. I mean, I share it a lot. But if you've never seen it, this is what it looks like. Okay. There are 7 stages. Every stage is tradable. I don't trade every stage, but it's good to know them because they're always in order. So when you know, like, oh, you have this, and you have that, and then you have that, and then this, and then bang, 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 bang. So when you look at this, right, image from 2024, shit still works, right? Even in 2026, because the algorithm doesn't change. Okay. Now you see it and you're like, oh yeah, this is massively bullish. So shorts are not a good idea. Adam says, I think what gets me tricked up is when we have day-to-day liquidity where we have clean lows for that day. So I would short NQ for the short term to then go higher for the long term. Okay. Yeah, I call that playing on the train tracks. Playing on the train tracks. So what that means is you're or the salmon swimming upstream. Or what you would be doing, Adam, and I'm not trying to roast you or anything. It's just I've done it too. You're trying to get crumbs instead of the loaf. You know what y'all know what I'm talking about, right? You have a loaf of bread, and whenever you get that last piece, the only thing that's left in that bag is the crumbs, right? Or maybe at the bottom of the toaster. Y'all ever seen the bottom of, if you haven't seen the bottom of your toaster, you need to go take a look at that. My shit caught on fire one time. That's a story for another day. But my point is, the bigger trades, right? I think we talked about swing trading the other day. Somebody had asked about it. And the good trades are going to be shorting in a sell program. And in this case, buying in a buy program. Okay? What you're essentially doing is you see, because I even have it marked myself. You have, like, we all see that there's equal lows, especially on a small time frame. And what you're saying is, oh yeah, short-term manipulation, and like this is going to be the sell model to go lower, and then this would be the higher time frame retracement to then go higher. Right? That's what's going through your mind. Short for the retracement for the long term to go higher. I'm pretty sure that's what you're trying to do. Julius, I'm not sure what you're talking about. That sounds more like a prop firm rule or something. I'm not really sure what you're talking about there. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. I'm not reading it out loud though. It's a long ass message. All right, I guess I'll read this out because if you don't have access to the chat, it's going to be hard to see or hard to understand. Let me keep this here for a minute. Even though I got drawings out the ass. He said, I usually start by looking at market maker models on the 1 hour time frame, then move to the 15 or the 5 and the entry on the 1 minute time frame. From the moment the model on the high time frame is aligned with the MMXM on the small time frame, is it considered a good setup? Since I started doing this, I went from 6 entries per week to 2 entries per week, considering that I only trade from Tuesday to Thursday. So what do you think? There's nothing wrong with 2 trades per week. I mean, it's a little bit on the low end. I can agree to that. But remember, we're not focused on quantity of trades. We're focused on quality of trades. So if 2 is enough, then let it be enough. If you can knock out 1 or 2 trades and be done, just do that consistently. And time will do the heavy lifting. I didn't pay him to say that, by the way. I didn't, full disclosure, I did not pay him to say that. But he also said just doing the trading plan you teach in core, I think he's referring to the core concept series. I think that's what he's referring to. And it's ridiculous how my win rate went up. Right. How my win rate, let me pin that. I don't think we pinned anything today. I'm going to pin that. Gold star for E today. He said he got paid for sure. No, he did. No, he did. Let me come back for a second. Before I got to the chapter you wrote in my chat today, the person before. So you're looking at these equal lows and you're looking at this like, oh, this might be manipulation, right? A-shape reversal, low risk short, first leg, probably premium, second leg to go lower. That's what you're looking at, like anticipating, okay, yeah, we're going to go for the equal lows. You have to remember, okay? You have to remember equal lows or equal highs can be left open for a long time. Think about it. If we simply go back over to ES for a second, right? What is the date on that? We had a high on the first. We had a high on the second, right? So that set of highs was created on the second. Today's the 15th. I'm no genius, but that's almost 2 weeks. 13 days. Almost 2 weeks, right? So that pool of liquidity has been building for 2 weeks, almost. So because those can be left open for a long time, it's the same thing on the small time frame as well. It's not exempt, okay? Those equal lows here, yes, they look good, right? Consolidation, it looks wonderful. But that can be left open. And we may not come back down here. We may instead go for those because we're in the second leg of accumulation, at least for ES. NQ may not be identical, but it still will follow suit. So hopefully that makes sense. You're trying to get the crumbs. You're trying to scalp lower. And that you're standing in the way of price going higher. That's why I call it playing on the train tracks. And you know what happens when you put a penny down or a coin down on the train tracks? It gets flattened out, right? That's essentially what you're doing. So the short-term reversals or the higher time frame retracements are just not great trades. They're good trades here and there, sure, but they're just not great trades. They're counter trend, we could say. They're counter algorithmic repricing. It's not the trade you want, I promise you. And I know some people are out there watching the stream or listening to me and going, oh, well, I take this all the time and I do well. Yeah, but you could do a lot better by actually getting in sync with the higher time frames instead of trying to just scalp pennies when you could have whole dollars go in the other direction. It's stupid. You're working harder and making less. That's retarded. I'd rather make more and work a lot less. So, but again, you're allowed to have whatever opinion you want. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what to think. So, anyway, Adam said, because on the higher time frame, that'd be the second stage if we retrace. I was looking at it from the high time frame. We take out trailing stops, right? But yes, that's what I... Look, I do not always know when they're going to go for trailing stops and when they don't. Okay. I don't know. I know a lot of things. I don't know everything. All right. I wish. And y'all know who does. Okay. Y'all know who does. And I don't talk to them anymore. So I'm sure all my exes can probably trade better than me. Right. Anybody who's never wrong will trade better than me for sure. So maybe they run a mentorship and you can go pay for that shit. Because, you know, if they're never wrong, I'd pay for that mentorship too. You know what I mean? Why not? Why not? I was leading somewhere. No, I'm just going to read the chat. Mark said, I was studying your propulsion and mitigation models at tops and bottoms this weekend. They are so close together. Do you look at both models when deciding on reversals or just one? So I guess that depends. Like if I'm late to something, then whichever the later one is. Or if I want to be early, whichever the earlier one is. So I do feel like propulsions are later entries because you can also have a mitigation and then a propulsion right after that, you know? So the propulsion is kind of like, it's not the entry you want. It's not the ideal entry, but it is a good entry to get in sync with price delivery. So no, even they're not. I doubt they're day traders. I doubt they even know what a 401k is or what the markets even are. They're too busy working a fucking job. So sorry, let me stop being a dick. It's just, you know, obviously we're all working through things, right? We're all working through things. I forgot where I was going with this. Basically, chat, we're bullish, okay? It doesn't mean we can't have retracements. We still can. Can NQ come down, you know, for these trailing stops or for like these lows, maybe, you know, in London or overnight or tomorrow? Yeah, they definitely can. I don't always know what trailing stop, like what lows are going to be swept before going higher, because they can still leave these open and run. And it's the same thing with ES. They could just have the low in here from London, which was a divergence, by the way. NQ left equal lows. ES had a lower low. So that should tell you something. And we can just blast off instead. That's not unheard of. Personally, if it was me, what I would do, thinking like a greedy old bastard, is I would take it lower to get back into the gap again, run any stops from people today trying to long, right? Get everybody out and then jam it. And if I was the one pulling the strings and I was long from here and from here and from here, I would take it down again just to load up even more to go higher. That's what I would do. But I don't control the markets. I just try to interpret what the algorithm is going to do with price. In between all the shit that Trump does. That's our navigation at the moment, okay? We're in some uncharted waters here. One tweet and that can be enough manual intervention to take price somewhere. And I can't predict that. I can't do it. Asking for a friend, yeah, I'm sure. Women are always so curious. So curious. How about you be just as curious in your journaling and in your trading? How about that? Then we'll start to see some good fucking trades around here. Mm-hmm. 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 You gotta be a detective, man. You know, that's the thing, man. This is not just women, this is everybody. So many people want to play detective. So many people want to be in other people's business. Right? And people are so quick to go to their social media page or to ask their friends about so and so, what so and so is up to. If we could only just be a detective in our own careers, in our own trading, if we could only be a detective in our own life, right? Our own introspection, man, we'd be so much farther. Man, we'd be so much farther than where we are, dude. If we stopped caring about what everybody else is doing and focused a little bit more on ourselves, in that regard, we would be further than where we are. Yeah, ain't that a bitch? Right. Philosophical Friday, chat. See, that's the thing, man. You gotta stop and think. I appreciate that, Iberneth. So, if I can go on a little bit more of a rant for you, because I really don't have a lot. I'm really not looking at much else, to be fair. Here's my thing. I'm not against the World Cup. I'm not against, sports by themselves. I'm not against UFC or anything like that. What I am against is people who don't have their shit together, meaning you're broke and or you live paycheck to paycheck, or you're extremely overweight. I'm a little bit overweight. I'd probably say a little bit. I'm not skinny, okay? But I'm not like massively obese either. I can still fit in the Corvette, okay? For now. People who don't have their shit together, but spend so much time, drinking, clubbing, watching UFC or worse, paying for UFC, right? 60, 70 bucks to watch a fight. That's most likely going to be scripted anyway. I just don't think that's what people should do with their time. And I made a post on Facebook and I said something similar. I was like, people will spend money on tickets and jerseys and beer, overpriced beer and all that stuff. And they'll spend time watching, the TV and then the commercials and all that stuff, which is also fragmenting your attention too. Trying to sell you shit that you don't need and that you can't afford anyway. And you're spending all that energy through the emotions. Oh, my team scored. Oh, my team didn't score. The other team scored, whatever, going back and forth. And it's like, that's not good, bro. You know what I mean? You're spending money you shouldn't be spending. You're spending time you shouldn't be spending. You're supporting these super rich athletes that have no idea who you are. And you're just making them richer and staying poor. And that I just think is ass backwards, man. I don't think people should do it. Now, if you are successful, you got some money, you got some time, and you want to relax and watch sports, hey, go for it. Nothing wrong with that. I was actually watching some soccer yesterday while the Astros were playing because I was out to lunch with a friend, and I had that burger with an egg on it. It had bacon too. It was really good. And then donuts dipped in Nutella. Phenomenal. But there was TVs on and there was the game and I had a mimosa too. So I'm not going to say don't do it at all, but I don't stay up all night worrying about my bank account. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that I have that are covered. So I have a little bit of that freedom to do that because a lot of shit is taken care of. If you don't have stuff taken care of, you shouldn't be doing those things. Personal opinion. Jay-Z, I wouldn't say like the UFC fight on the White House lawn. I actually think that's pretty cool. Teddy Roosevelt and some other presidents actually did box inside the White House, not outside, inside the actual White House. So I'm not against that. I thought it was cool. And the jets flying over, cool. That's just what I've seen, on social media, but I didn't watch all that stuff. I think that's actually kind of cool. It's definitely better than all the gay shit they were doing. The rainbow flags and the rainbow colors trying to make everybody gay and retarded. I would much rather see UFC. They had an eagle that was flying. Shit was glorious. So I wouldn't necessarily say that's the Roman Colosseum. But all the other sports games, I would say, yeah, Roman Colosseum. The regular games and all these made up stats and, all that stuff. It's nonsense. They'll kick a dude. I forget his name, but they kicked him out of the NFL or the NBA because he wanted to talk about Jesus. But yet these other guys who beat women and, have a bunch of baby mamas, nobody cares. Oh, it's cool. Oh, you beat the fuck out of your wife? Oh, that's fine. He's an NFL player. It's cool. What type of shit is that? You can beat women, but you can't talk about Jesus. Roman Colosseum. Absolutely. It's insane. So, yes. Don't get drunk on the Colosseum wine. Yeah. Well, anyway, I think that's enough for today. I was going to go over how to trade without fear, but I totally went off in a different direction. So it is what it is. But hopefully you guys did learn something today. Drop a 3 in the chat if you learned something. If there's one takeaway from today, if there's one takeaway that you get out of today, meaning if you didn't write anything down, now's your fucking chance. You have to know what stage you're in. Okay? If you don't know what stage you're in a market maker model, whether it's a sell model or buy model, doesn't matter. If you don't know what stage you're in, you're not going to know what's going on in the higher time frame. Okay? If you're in the second leg of accumulation, it's usually better to long than it is to short. Now, higher time frame models can have obviously larger ranges, larger retracements. So I'm not saying like, oh, you should long now. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, generally speaking, you'll do better going long than you will going short. And you will understand why when you go to a smaller time frame, the concepts that people think that they know, why they don't always work, or why sometimes they'll give and go. Like they'll hit the up candles and then massively trade lower, right? But they don't understand this. Well, why did the market do that here and then came back and like now it's still kind of not going lower, right? You have to know what stage you're in. And when you journal stuff like that, right, this is the kind of stuff you need to look for after you take a loss. Oh, I shorted and took a break even. Well, what happened? I basically broke it down for you today. You're shorting at the worst possible time. Not time of day, but like time as in where we're at in the models. Not a good time to short. So that's why you need that discernment. And that's why people who say you only should have one model is retarded. Because if your model calls for shorts in a bull market, that's a fucked up model. That's a terrible model. Oh, but the edge, but the money management. My brother in Christ, you can be a terrible trader and still be profitable because you're a good money manager. But don't call yourself a trader. Call yourself a money manager. You can manage money, but you're a shit trader. Okay? So I feel like that's a good way to end it. Y'all be good, be blessed. All right. We'll be here same time, same place on Tuesday the 16th, tomorrow. So make good decisions, make good choices, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Stretch across the sky, so when it goes dark, you can see me fly. I faced autumn on my own, but there was a time. I recall the night, racing through the city with you, made me feel alive. On a midnight highway, us two. I recall the night, racing through the city with you, made me feel alive. On a midnight highway with you. I recall the night, on a midnight highway with you. Diamonds on your body, dancing pieces of the light, pieces of the light. Diamonds on your body, dancing pieces of the light, pieces of the light. I recall the night, racing through the city with you, made me feel alive. On a midnight highway, us two. I recall the night, racing through the city with you, made me feel alive. On a midnight highway with you. On a midnight highway with you. I recall the night. Pieces of the light, diamonds dancing all over you, only in my mind. In a memory, I return to you.